Hey, wondering when you don't know the opponent that you're going to play, coach, but what are the ways that you can address just your own team and what has to get better from round one to round two, and how much does that change after tonight? Like how much different is practice tomorrow once you know if it's Houston or OKC, versus what you've just been able to work on yourselves?
Yeah, today was all about the Lakers, the things we do, executing our offensive sets, defensive coverages, habits like transition defense and, box out habits. Really about our execution pieces. And then obviously tomorrow we dive into whoever our opponent is.
Hey, Frank, it's Dave. I imagine, as you approached the regular season prior to March, you had some things in your back pocket that you might have worked on in practice, thinking that you guys would have hopefully have a long playoff run in front of you. Have you been able to, and I don't know if that's, first of all, is that a correct presumption?
Things in March during
the regular season prior to the pandemic. Did you work on stuff in practice that you weren't going to use in the regular season that you would eventually use in the playoffs?
Yes, for sure. And we've had more meetings about those things than actually working on them in practice. But there's definitely things that for instance, in the Portland series, there's things we didn't do in the regular season that we did on all the Portland practices leading up to that. But we haven't done any of that. The last couple of practices has just been a focus on ourselves.
Hey Frank, Melissa here. I'm curious, over the last nearly 2 months of such concentrated time together, I'm curious what's been most surprising of something that you've learned about LeBron?
Most surprising about what I've learned about LeBron? That's a great question. I would say that, how good he is at Madden football. I think they've been playing a lot of Madden football that our group has, and I hear he's very good.
You guys can go ahead.
Great, Tanya.
As you're starting to have families coming in here, are you gonna let kids come to practice? Is it gonna be more of a family?
We've got to see. We always want to have a family atmosphere. We just got to see what the protocols are from the league.
Kyle?
Frank, related to that, you played the Thunder and the Rockets in the seeding games. How much of what you did in those games was just hey, we're going to hold our cards to ourselves and maybe not play these teams like we might in the postseason?
A little bit. We're still competing to win those games, but, obviously when you get into a 7-game playoff series, there's so many more things you can be creative with on both sides of the ball that, that you wouldn't see in a game like that. That's a regular season game or a seeding game. So, for the most part, we play them, pretty straight up, and the creativity comes now.
Did you learn something from those seeding games that might be valuable to you in the next round?
Well, we lost both of them. So we learned that either one of these teams could beat us. That's the number one lesson. And I think every time you play against a team, you further your understanding of that opponent. So, yes, we certainly did in both of those games.
Mark Medina?
Hey, Frank, as coach, how have you been weighing the cost benefit here of benefiting from the rest, whatever injuries since playing Saturday, but not having that quick turnaround that you guys have been accustomed to normally?
Yeah, it's really completely out of my control. So I just try to manage the time the best that we can. And we've tried to stay on a schedule of every other day, like we've been on with the games, where Monday was a live practice, Tuesday was off, today was a live practice, tomorrow will be a light practice, probably no contact, and just try to keep those guys in that kind of rhythm.
Okay, I think Will has a couple more on his end.
All right, Reg. Hello, Frank. How you doing today?
Good.
Yeah. What's the update on Rondo, and will he play on Friday?
Rondo has practiced both times this week. Looks really good. We're going to continue to see how he's feeling after this work, but we're hopeful to have him in uniform and in the rotation on Friday.